Wait.
We didn't do the intro.
Wait.
You didn't hear the fart.
Wait a second.
My glasses.
What the frick is up, everybody? Hell yeah. It's Seabass. We're back for another episode of the old Bass and Beer Radio. Tonight, hanging out with old Paul Batters and youngin' Tony Schultz.
Hi, everybody.
You're not that old.
Pretty old.
But, yeah, tonight we're going to talk about some Humminbird shit. We got some Humminbird stuff coming out. Humminbird is updating their graphs. We have a little bit of info that is available to the public that we will discuss, and we're going to talk about
what does this mean? What does this mean to you? What does this mean to
What does it mean
the
to
industry?
you? What does it mean to people that are already currently running Humminbird? Because there's a lot of people that are currently running Humminbird that are a little bit upset right now.
There's a lot of people. Yeah.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what the updates are possibly what they are, and maybe why Humminbird is going in this direction.
I really want to start with the people being angry first. And
isn't that fun?
My disdain for those people.
Before we start there,
because how are you going to buy the lowest end unit? You buy the lowest end unit that a company makes and expect it to run every fucking new thing that they come out with.
Yep.
So I'm sorry. Like, I love the Helix. It's not going to support Mega Live 2.
So before we start there, Chad, let's give a plug to our sponsors before we get into it.
Yes, sir. Let's get with it.
Not our sponsors, the people who are being assholes right
I
now.
want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors. We got UMA Lure Company. UMA Lure Company makes some of the best balsa wood crankbaits on the market. I can say that I personally met Tyler probably about 3 or 4 years ago now. Dude makes a phenomenal bait, phenomenal paint. Very talented and a great bait. The deflection rate of the UMA cranks is one of the highest that I've ever seen.
Fuck you, Tyler.
I'm willing. I'll take a UMA crankbait. I'll throw it in any laydown, and with confidence. So.
That FU Tyler was directed toward my cousin, not to the Tyler.
No.
I was like, did I miss something? No, that's funny.
Hey, look, there's John.
Hey, what's up?
What's going
Jim?
on, John?
What's up, John?
Hey, John.
Yeah, Tyler's been busy making baits too the last couple of weeks. Getting ready for show season.
He has. So once again, shout out UMALureCompany.com. Check them out. Get your husband, your son, anybody that's into fishing, a couple balsa wood crankbaits for Christmas. That's a fantastic Christmas present. Shout out to our sponsors, Mobile Auto Solutions and the Boat Pros. They come to you. You guys need your oil changed. It's wintertime. A lot of people are putting their boats up for the winter. You need your lower unit oil change. You need the motor inspected. You need the boat checked out.
A little winterization, maybe.
Winterization.
Yeah, we'll fog some cylinders.
Check out the Mobile Auto Services and the Boat Pros. Let them come to you while you're at work. Take care of all of your problems. You don't have to worry about it. Guaranteed that motor fires up and is purring like a kitten next season. Also, East Coast IV. Big shout out to East Coast IV. East Coast IV is freaking tight, man. These are the guys that big like from Oliver Nye. Thanks, Oliver. Really appreciate you.
Empty.
East Coast IV, man, you guys can show up there. They'll give you an IV in house, help you feel better if you're maybe a little bit. I said Mobile Auto Services. They'll have you freaking fixed up, get you feeling good. I know a couple people, including myself, that's used East Coast IV. We got Christmas coming up.
I don't like needles.
I don't like needles either, but I will say if you're feeling like crap after New Year's holiday, that needle is very small. And it makes you feel better in a hurry. Totally worth it. Check out East Coast IV. They're located in Belcamp, about 20 minutes up Route 40 from here.
I don't drink enough to have to worry about that.
That's true.
Some dehydration though, summertime. Doing a little bass fishing in the summertime.
Bass Munitions. Next up in line, Bass Munitions. Shout out to Bass Munitions. Mr. Larry Payne makes fantastic soft plastic that's put many bass in the boat for us. We enjoy throwing the Bass Munitions plastics. And he's a Christian company in support of America, as you can see. And absolutely love Bass Munitions. Thank you for your service and for your support, Mr. Larry Payne.
Right. Oh, and Jim Fallon's on. Jim, I have your shirts. They are in my possession. I'm going to mail them out in the next 2 days. We have not forgotten. I'm going to mail them. Sorry.
Hey, Chad, Jim wants to know if it's okay to get a small prick.
We only
if you know how to use it, yes.
We've only forgot about your shirts for about 8 to 10 months now, but that's okay. We're getting to it. Tailored lures. One hell of a frog. I'm going to call it a saltwater frog.
Saltwater frog.
It's a saltwater frog. The hooks in that
He should
thing,
call it the all-terrain frog because that's what it is.
That's a great dude.
You can just go through as many fish and as many whatevers you want with that thing. It just lasts forever.
He's got some really, really strong barbs in those hooks. Can't wait to get back out there this summer and throw some tailored lures. But let's get into what we're going to talk about tonight, fellas. And as I said earlier, we're going to talk a little bit about what Minn Kota has to offer and is what put out on the market now.
Humminbird.
I'm sorry,
Same
Minn
company.
Kota. Humminbird, Minn Kota, same thing. But
So
let's
let me
get a little bit into that.
Before we start, I just want to say that where we got this information, right? So
There's a lot of rumor.
So the rumors kind of
Yeah,
piqued
go on.
the interest of me, Paul, and Chad, and we just kind of started looking into this stuff. Andy Hauser put out a great video on Team Marine today.
Shout out Andy.
So if you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you check that out. A lot of the information that we're going to say is part of what he said. So definitely take a moment to check that out after we clear out the show today. But Andy put out a good video. There was a fishing show that went on in Amsterdam actually a couple weeks ago, and Humminbird kind of released some stuff there. And, a few folks that are really, really well in tune with the industry have talked to us and said what they're allowed to tell us. We're not going to sit here and say things that we're not supposed to say because nobody has told us anything that they're not supposed to tell us. We don't like to gouge people for information.
That's correct.
But I feel like this whole thing, and Paul kind of alluded to it a little bit as well. So the background technically the announcement hasn't come out yet. Right, the announcement's on December 9th is when Humminbird's going to make their announcement to the United States consumer market. But
What's up, Robbie?
Monday.
Where we're at on Monday, yeah.
On Monday.
But anyway,
We'll take over the United States and make it great again.
Humminbird is going to ruin fish finders. Let me tell you, Lawrence is going to kill them. Elon Musk is going to make his own fish finder. Anyway,
America!
So the announcement comes out on Monday, and time will tell how right or wrong we were. But I feel pretty confident that what we're going to talk about is most of the way there. So
Well, we can go on what we know, right?
Yeah.
So Humminbird is going to release a new series of units called the Explorer series.
I like it.
It will be similar to the Solix.
yes, yep.
As far as what it looks like, how it functions, touchscreen with buttons on the side. Alongside of that, they are planning on releasing Mega Live 2,
Yes.
which is a updated Mega Live transducer forward facing.
Which I have an issue with that.
It's a whole new transducer.
Whole new transducer.
Yes. I actually have an issue. I have
So-
a very large issue with that.
Hold on, we'll get into that. So the Mega Live 2 will be compatible with 3 units: the Explorer units, the Apex units, which is their flagship.
Yes.
Their
They're
flagship.
cream
Absolutely.
of the crop.
They have like the 16-inch Apex that people see up.
It's 11, 13, and 16, right? They're kind of
I
oddball
think they just have
sizes.
13 and 16.
The 11's the Explorer, I
Look,
think. Or
it's
something.
it's the big dick unit that you see
So-
on the front of
It's
people's
the
boats.
big
And then the Gen 3 Solix.
Yep, correct.
So new transducer, it's only going to be compatible with those 3 units. If you have a Gen 2 Solix or before, or if you have a Helix unit, it's not going. The Mega Live 2 is not going to be compatible.
So let me jump in for just a second. Even if you have a G4 Helix 15,
Correct.
you are No, you are not going to be compatible with Mega Live 2.
You're shit out of luck.
You are SOL.
Oh, that's right. It comes in. It's 13, 16, and 19.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So if,
got
but
the
only
19 on the
if
Lund.
you're running Mega Live 2.
John, sell me that Lund.
If you're running Mega Live 1, you can still
It's still
run your Helix units. But
100%.
Now, the question is going to be...
You're just running the bottom of the barrel like
Kind
you
of.
always have been.
Well, yeah, because Mega Live sucks.
Exactly.
Well,
sorry.
No, this isn't so. To me, Mega Live is not until we see what Mega Live 2 does. Mega Live is a very minute part of this conversation.
I disagree, but I'll go ahead and finish.
Simply because the average person, even pros, nobody runs Mega Live unless they're a 100% sponsored.
Or they just really like
but how many
Humminbird
sponsors did you see dropped over that as well?
A ton.
A ton.
For because
reason.
Mega Live wasn't because Mega Live was not as good, and they felt like they couldn't compete without it. As an average consumer, I know 2 people that have Mega Live, and to be fair, one of them I haven't talked to about it much. I talked to him when he first got it, and I got to look at it.
You talking Mega Live 2?
No,
Okay, sorry, never mind.
didn't look too bad. The other person loves it. He has no complaints about it. He can see his bait. He can see his bait. He can see fish. Like that's all he needs it for. But Mega Live is as far
Yes,
as
ma'am.
as for
That's John's wife.
Oh, okay. Anytime, Mrs. Hanson, anytime.
no comment.
Anytime. You just let us know.
So, the reason that I say that Mega Live is not a huge part of this conversation yet is because so little of the forward-facing market share is owned by Mega Live.
Oh, yeah, agreed.
Now, it could be if Mega Live 2 is the bee's knees.
I just don't think it's going to
it
be.
could
But
Well, we don't know.
Right, you're right. We have no idea.
We had no
don't.
idea that
So-
until 2 weeks ago, we had no idea that they were even planning on making a new live.
Yeah,
transmission.
no, you're
Well,
right.
You
you're
had
right.
to think that they were definitely coming up with something that was going to be more competitive with Garmin and Lowrance.
Well, they kept saying that they were because they weren't using a black box. Their transducer was good, but they needed to figure out the processing and the algorithms to make it work properly. So,
Well, and I think this gets back, and not to jump in at the wrong time, but like this is why I have an issue with Mega Live 2. And it's not that they're trying to improve the technology; it's the manner in which they're doing it. Because when Mega Live came out, the whole concept was affordability, no black box. It's not the greatest right now, but we're going to upgrade it. And it's going to get better. You don't have to get a second transducer, and now here we are getting a second transducer. And now a second head unit because they figured out, oh, yeah, you kind of have to have a black box to make this work. Or you have to specifically design a head unit to have the computing power to do this, right? And that's where I have an issue. And I'm not saying they lied. I'm saying they overpromised and underperformed, right? And that was...
They did.
That's what Andy said
That's
in a
wrong.
way. Like Andy said that... His problem with the Explorer is that the weight. It's very big. It's the size profile of a Helix, whereas a Solix is a lot smaller. But they have to do that if you don't have a black box. You have to have that hardware in the head unit, which is and again, affordability, right?
You have to have the processing power in
Right.
the head unit that is not delivered from the black box.
Right, but-
that, in my opinion, is a check mark that Humminbird is not checking.
But
what are
here's
they not checking? Sorry, I was looking for.
What's up, Geezer Gang? Thanks for joining us, brother.
who's Geezer Gang?
Geezer Gang. He says 03 Skeeter, Geezer Gang. What's
yeah.
up?
Hell yeah!
Cool beans. Welcome, man.
Love it, brother.
Team Skeeter.
So,
Skeet.
but what I'm saying is, I feel like this whole thing, maybe not the whole thing, but part of it is a result of Humminbird realizing that the components of the black box are a necessity, right? You have to have the computing power somewhere. If you don't have it in the black box, you have to put it in the head unit, right? So now we've gone from a $1,500 Mega Live transducer to a $3,000 roughly unit that's required to get you close to what Garmin had 5 years ago.
That's one thing that we don't know about is the price rate.
Oh, we got John Hansen in the house. What's up, brother? Thank you for joining us.
So we've seen
John, welcome.
We've seen no
Cheers, sir.
we've seen no U.S. pricing. we saw the pricing that was listed at the Amsterdam show,
Right.
but
Yeah,
being
true.
that was in Europe,
True.
there's a lot of extra costs with the units are, from what I understand, and this is just from
It's like
a
30%,
a random
right?
person on Facebook who's from Europe who gave a price comparison.
Whoa.
The units in Europe are
He's got a Humminbird ID1 1980 model.
old.
That
Still
thing has
in the
like
box.
it probably has paper.
That is really cool.
That is really cool.
I
Actually.
like that.
So the units there are in the generally 30% are going to have like a 30% markup because they got to ship overseas and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, right.
So I mean, that would take it down to 2,200, which
That's
is about
big. That's no.
that's the same. That's what the price of a Helix 12 is.
I'm just saying, how does that equate to 30%?
30% of $3,000 is $900.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Dude, my math is that bad?
10%
It's like that
is-
movie. I'm retarded.
My math was never that good.
Okay, so all right,
So-
so even if it's 2,200,
So let's say it's
Brian, what's
2,500.
up, sir?
it's still cheaper than a deal you can get on a new 12 with the black box from Bass Pro on Black Friday, which is like $2,000.
But you're also getting the lowest end Garmin.
Okay, which is it's still better than the Mega Live. Maybe not necessarily
it
2,
is.
but
So-
it's better than Mega Live.
We don't
right?
know yet.
Like-
You're getting the older. Those are all of their older units that they're clearing out. It's not that if you buy an Ultra 2, it's how much, what's a 12-inch Ultra 2 is like $2,500
Hey, Ken, thanks for joining, brother.
or more even because a 10 is 2,100.
Yeah.
So, you look at it that way.
Tom.
If you're comparing, comparable models, then I feel like you're not. I feel like we're a little jaded on the price because of like we get all these blowout prices, right? Because they're clearing out these older models that have these older transducers that side scan transducers that come with them.
Right.
So we're a little jaded on the price now.
What's his last name?
ARNES, I think. Thomas?
Aaron's
Aaron's.
AREN.
Is it Tom?
Tom? Yeah. We can't tag him apparently.
You got to tag fish in the DMV. We're bringing our buddy Tom into the conversation because I'm
So-
sure he's got something to say on this.
Oh, I'm
too.
sure he does.
So that's point one, right? If you compare a new model Garmin to this new model Humminbird, you're not going to see that much of a price difference.
Yeah. No, I mean,
And if the Humminbird, so the Humminbird is a couple $100 more, but a LVS 34 with black box is a couple $100 more than Mega Live. You know what I mean? It ends up being the same price.
But is that why that some of the Garmin units or whatever, or even low rants, has been more expensive? Because of the box?
What do you mean?
I mean, the black box is a component, right? But
It's
that's
a component, but is it an extra expense?
yes, it is.
Yes.
If you want to compare that to Mega Live.
Yeah.
It is. Well, yes
But it
and no.
makes the quality
But
of
I'm
what
looking
you're
at-
It depends
looking
on-
at.
it
so
I'm
depends
looking
on
at the
the
total
head
price.
unit.
So the total
So-
price is $1,600.
I think
Right.
the difference is you can run live scope with almost any Garmin that's over 10 inches. You cannot run Mega Live 2 with almost any Humminbird. I think
has
that's
to be
the difference.
10 plus.
It has to be
no, you can run
it's
it on
got to be the
can run it on
Solix
7.
G3 or the Explorer or the Apex. And let's be honest, those
For
are
a
not,
Garmin, I mean.
those
Wait,
are
so
not
is
cheap.
it not a new head unit in itself? It's
The
just
Explorer is.
It,
The
so
Explorer
the
is the new
Explorer
head unit,
is,
yes.
Yes.
but the new transducer itself will only work on an updated Solix, the Apex, or an Explorer. unit.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
The
and,
newest
and
Solix.
let's spill these beans for a second. The Explorer is designed, and I have a reasonable degree of certainty to saying this. The Explorer is designed to replace the Helix and the Solix. You are not going to see G5 Helixes, which I mean,
But
to
how
your
do you
point,
replace the Helix and the Solix with one solid unit?
Because essentially
That's
they
what
both
they're
do the
doing.
same thing.
Yeah, the
One
yes.
What
touch
is
screen
the
and one's not.
differences that they are going to make to this unit? Are they going to? Is it
just
going
has
to
more
be all
computing power.
touchscreen with buttons?
Yes, actually.
Yes, just like the Solix.
Yes. Yes.
So, oh man, Because that was the other thing. Like the Helix had a lot of that processing power underneath the screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that something they're going to add the clarity of the Solix with the processing power of like the Helix type thing?
It's actually going to have more processing power than the
both.
Solix.
Than both.
Yeah.
Right.
So the reason I feel like they're sunsetting so they're sunsetting the Helix, which I don't agree with, but they're sunsetting it because it's been around forever. It by all accounts a tremendously successful fish finder.
8 years. I believe the Helix has been out for 8 years.
That's
Awesome.
It's a good run.
Awesome fish
Yeah, I
finder.
gotta say.
One of the best of all
Probably
time.
one of the longest running.
Yeah.
Probably one of the longest running of any brand.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So let's be honest here. It's money. Right?
We're all about honesty on Bass and Bait
God,
Radio.
yeah.
What is-
It's 100% about money.
What's more when you talk about lower costs?
Matt, what's up, my brother? Thank you
what's-
for joining us, dude.
What's better as a company? To have 2 really good units
Or to have one.
or to have 5 that are
Mediocre.
a couple of these are mediocre and then we have a couple of really good ones.
Yeah, you got to get rid of the
Have
mediocre
a solid
ones.
couple units.
You got to get rid of the mediocre.
If
ones.
you
Totally agree.
I mean, I understand it.
As
it makes
long as the
sense.
price point makes sense. And look, as many people can be pissed off as
I
as
agree
they
with
want.
what Jim is saying, to be honest with you, though. It is another fad. It's another way to force you into spending more money on another unit.
I mean, eventually
It
you're going to have to.
It is business.
It's a business.
Yes.
It's just
They
like
don't
your
make
phone.
money. They don't make money by you keeping the same unit for 20 years.
It's just like your
It
phone.
makes me happy that I did
Capitalism.
not invest on 10 to 12 inch Helix units like I thought about doing, though.
I'm perfectly
yeah,
happy with
I mean,
my
yeah.
12-inch Helix. Because guess what? So going back to Mega Live being a minor part of this conversation, the reason that we bought Humminbirds was because they have the best side scan and best down image on.
I'm glad you bring this up.
110%. No
So-
questioning. That's no questioning that.
So why look at my boat right now? I have 2 Helixes and a Garmin. This change does not affect me. My
Correct.
side scan is
Yeah.
still going to work as good as it always did. And hey, maybe I can upgrade. Maybe I can upgrade in a couple of years and I get better side scan. If they don't have anything better, guess what? It doesn't matter.
Yep. So I think you bring up a good point, and this is I'm going
To a certain extent, till you get farther into the future.
Yeah.
And then
Or
eventually
if
they'll
something better-
stop. Exactly.
I'm going to reference
But even when they stop doing updates,
It's still going to work.
software updates,
It'll
it still
function.
works.
Yeah, it's going to function.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like
yeah.
it's not like my 12-inch Helix is going to be useless in 5 years.
See, I think your point. I think what you said is actually instrumental into why this is happening. You said, and because I'm in the same boat, right? I have 2 Helixes and I have a Garmin specifically for live scope, like a lot of us do,
Pretty
right?
much the same
Most
set.
of
We have
us.
almost the exact same setup.
Exactly. we all like so many people.
There's-
Because I think you have a 10 in the back, right?
There's so
Yeah,
many guys that are either running Humminbird or low ranch just for your down scan or your side scan,
And then you're running
they
live.
only
Yeah.
run Garmin for live.
Yep.
And you'll see online so many times, well, why aren't you just only running Garmin?
Because
Because you have better options for other things.
That is correct. However, let me raise this point, right? You can see a boat at any level of fishing, whether it be the pros, whether it be your local tournament tomorrow, right? They could have 5 Humminbird, or they could have 3 Humminbirds and 1 Garmin, but you're never going to see 3 Garmins and 1 Humminbird.
Nope, never.
You're never
will
going to
say-
see
I think if you look at
Of now.
look at Wheeler.
the side scan is great, but it's not great enough to the point where you're not going to. If you want Garmin, you're going to have Garmin.
discontinue.
Let's talk about the best fisherman in the world right now, Jacob Wheeler. Look at the front of his boat. You know what's on the front of his boat?
My name's Chad.
Isn't it one of each?
One of each. You know why? Because they each do something
Correct.
better.
No, I agree.
They each have their place. Now, for the average
Garmin
fisherman,
low ranch Humminbird all at the front of his boat.
yes,
Yeah, he does.
How's that even allowed on television?
It won't be anymore.
he's not sponsored by an electronics company.
It's actually pretty smart.
That's crazy, coming from the best fisherman.
But because he wants the best of all the
He
worlds.
wants to run the best. So
Okay, well, he's
Makes
got
sense.
support. He's got support from somewhere in order
for
to be able
the
to do that.
for the average fisherman, if you wanted to run all Garmin, I'm a Humminbird guy myself, but if you wanted to run all Garmins, like you just put a Garmin on you just put a Garmin on your boat. If
I like
you
my
got
Garmin.
you got another Garmin to put on the back that we got to get on this winter,
Yes, sir.
Oh, you haven't put that on yet?
you're not
On
going
the console.
you're not going to notice. It's not going to be for what you do. having that Garmin on the back is not going to hurt. It's not going to affect you negatively.
No.
At all. No. The side scan is good enough.
That's low ranch side scan, by the way. That is not a Humminbird. I
meant your new, the one we're going.
Yeah. Well,
because you're going to have two Garmins, right?
That's better than what I have currently. Period.
Tom from Fishing the DMV, our buddy, has a good comment. Says this leaves the door open for another company to come in with an everyman price electronic setup. Kind of agree with that. As a guy that runs a Helix 15 for his Mega 360, I wonder if his decision will bite him in the ass a couple years. Now, Tom,
but why? Why would it bite you in the ass?
Tom, do you want a link? I will send you a link right now. Would love to have you join in for this conversation.
I want to know why he thinks it's going to bite him. It might bite him.
I want to know what live he's running.
If you're buying it, if you bought a Helix 15 specifically to use Mega 360.
It shouldn't be really effective.
In a couple of years, your Helix 15 is still going to run Mega 360. It's not going to make it. It's not going to be.
So I think Humminbird could make this 100% right by offering trade-ins for guys that have Helixes and Legacy Solixes.
What's wrong? Where's the wrong?
Well,
there is no wrong.
I think,
in my opinion,
I don't necessarily think it's a wrong, but I would feel a certain way.
The units that you bought your units to do something specific.
Correct.
And it's still going to do that something specific years down the road.
Well, it comes down to if the updates are not going to be supported and if the service is not going to be supported, right? So if we have a Helix 15 that's 6 months old and something bad happens and you send it to Humminbird and they say, yeah, we don't mess with Helixes anymore, that's screwed up. That's wrong. And I guess, and we have not given Humminbird the ability to address that because they haven't made the press release yet.
Right.
So that is up in the air, right? Tom said again in his comment, out of the big three, I've always felt like they've been behind the eight ball the past couple of years compared to Garmin and Lowrance. I agree with that in a way, but not necessarily all the time. Wouldn't be surprised if they get caught up in the next couple of years. I just don't think. I don't think that. What's it called? That the Mega Live 2 is going to be that great. I mean, we heard this hype for Mega Live 1. John asked, did Garmin offer trade-ins for the 32? I don't think they did. Lenny says there's no wrong. Every non-tournament guy can get away with so many options. Just get done what they need done. I'm not, like, as a Helix guy.
I do agree, though.
Like, I've loved my Helixes, and I've had them since 2019, so maybe even before that. I can't be upset. I'm definitely not upset. If I would have bought them last year, I might feel a certain way because I feel like, you know, and again, it's not wrong, but it's like you sold me a full price Helix knowing it was going to go away in 5 minutes.
But if you, that's buyer's remorse.
Yes,
that's nothing more than buyer's remorse. Oh, I paid $2,000 for this. I could have paid $1,500 for it this year. You bought, when we're talking specifically about the Helix, you can't expect to buy the lowest model that a company makes and expect it to run everything that company is going to release for the next 5 years.
Yes, but Garmin kind of does that, though.
What's up, Patrick? Thanks for joining, brother. Glad to see you.
But Garmin kind of does that.
Did they? Because they have units that won't run you have units that aren't compatible with the 34.
Yeah, but okay, but we're not. But the 32 is still completely relevant.
The 54 is the new transducer for Garmin. The 54 and the 34.
The newest freshwater.
Yeah.
So, but okay, I hear what you're saying, but I think the difference is
Lowrance has units that won't run Active Target 2.
But was Active Target 1 a piece of shit?
Paul, you're getting a hallelujah from the crowd right now.
I'm just saying, this is what. It's business, right?
Yes.
You can't.
No, I agree. 100%.
You can't go. Okay, so you can. Everybody has a cell phone. 60% of the world has a fucking iPhone.
And you get a new one every 2 years, apparently, or something, right? It's the same concept.
2 years.
If you go out now and you buy you can still buy the what are we on the 16? You can go out and buy the iPhone 15 right now. They still make it. They still sell it.
Mm-hmm.
But. Yeah. You can't complain that in 4 years they stopped supporting it because you bought the absolute dog shit lowest model that company makes.
That being said, there are some killer deals on Helix 12s and 15s
Totally agree,
right now,
Rodney.
by the way.
Tom, also, if you're watching, we sent you a lick to fish in the DMV and your personal thing. If you want to join in, you're more than welcome. We're ready for you.
One thing I'm actually curious about is with the head units having this upgraded processing power, what's that mean for battery consumption? Now, and I don't think it's going to be a massive issue because so many
Tesla
guys,
phone, hell yeah.
so many guys are
What's
running
up, Rob? What's up,
high
Murph?
capacity lithiums like the 125 Ionics or whatever. So I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. But like for that guy that maybe like me that maybe has an older boat, if you're running an X2 or you're just running an interstate or a Walmart, that might mean a lot.
You know why
for
they
your
did
battery.
that? They did that for a reason, Jim.
yeah.
It's called market share. I would say that Garmin probably makes very little money off of those units, but they have that gets them market share. So if you get people, oh, I can buy this 10-inch unit for $1,000 instead of paying $1,500 for a Humminbird. Okay, so now you have market share because guess what? When they go to upgrade their units and buy their next set of units,
It's going to be a Garmin.
it's going to be a Garmin.
Right.
Oh, well, I've had Garmin. 75% of people are going to be like, oh, well, I have Garmin. I already know how to use it.
You bring up
Might as well get Garmin's again.
You bring up a good point about familiarity. I kind of think that's the same thing. I think I think a lot of people.
sucks, Greg.
We'll talk about that a little bit
sucks.
later, Greg, for sure.
I think a lot of people at this point that are running Humminbirds, especially when it comes to forward-facing sonar, are running them solely for this reason that they're familiar with Humminbird. I really believe that that's
There's
true.
no other reason to run Humminbird.
I agree 100%.
There's no other
Side
reason to run
scan.
it.
Side scan. I mean,
I guess if you're stuck to just having those units for side scan and down imaging,
Side
so
scan,
you might as
and
well
mapping.
use them for live.
and mapping.
But I just
Oh,
as,
no,
as
no.
somebody,
I
as
think
somebody
Garmin
who
mapping's
sees
way
the
better.
amount of people.
Oh
it
no,
is.
the VX mapping's freaking ridiculous.
On the birds?
Yeah.
Oh, the Lake Master?
Stupid.
Yeah. But the base package of the Garmin's better.
So, yeah, base maps are better for sure. So, back to what we were talking
Someone
about.
farted.
It was not. No, I would call it
Wasn't
if
me.
it was me. It wasn't me.
It was a dog.
Bub-
Dude, I would have farted right into this microphone.
That's true. He would have. He would have.
So, I forgot. What were you saying there, Chad? You were saying something.
Side scan.
That
We're
I
talking
had to
about side
fart?
scan and familiarity
Oh.
with graphs.
So, yeah. So, people who have Humminbirds like me, like I have.
Thomas says he's at the gym, but this conversation is tempting me to join.
So-
Thomas, if you're on the treadmill, you can join.
He's gonna start yelling at the gym. He's gonna get kicked out of Planet Fitness.
Right.
Wonker alert, or what's that? Wonk
Lunk alert.
Lunk
Yeah,
alert.
Lunk alert at
Lunk
Planet
alert.
Fitness. Dude, I hate Planet Fitness. We'll never go there.
Coming from a true muscle head.
But yeah, that's
Camo.
I would say that the majority of people like I run Humminbird for side scan and mapping.
Those are
It'd be
those are
$5.
nice.
It'd be $5.
I like them.
If you had your eyes
And I
closed,
run
it
it-
might do something
Kind
for
of
you.
horny right
And
now.
I run it in the front for 360 because 360 is a game changing piece of equipment.
360 is pretty awesome.
And then I run Garmin for LiveScope
I really think that this whole thing is,
because I'm not hung up on look, I'm not hung up on brand.
yeah.
I want what does what I want it to do the best.
I really
If that
think
was
that
Lowrance, I would do
yeah.
it. Actually, that wouldn't be Lowrance because Lowrance customer service sucks donkey dick.
It does. It's not good. It's not
Patrick
good.
says it's the fucking dog fart.
I do.
Here
I
we
really
go.
think that a lot of the reason. I know you say you don't think it's a big thing, but I think I think a lot of the reason why they're pushing for this and really pushing hard on the live and the unit capability with the live too, is because so many people are running
Damn.
all Trexes with Humminbirds across the board except for LiveScope.
Jim has a good point.
Minn Kota and Humminbird they were the first ones to ever talk about this one boat network, and they had that down until LiveScope came out. And then everybody had a one boat network until they had a Garmin on there.
Where's Headwaters?
It's in Florida, Melbourne, Florida. Dude, it's awesome. Lake.
So
what's that in here?
we got Matt Downs in here from Trick Tins. Matt Downs says I'm a Garmin guy 100% through and through, but majority of John Boat Builds guys run Bird for side scan and Garmin for live scope. Matt is also running. If you guys haven't gone to Trick Tins YouTube,
I know it's in Florida.
and checked out his new video, Matt is running a new lithium battery.
Oh, I
that
did see that.
none of us have
I
actually
actually
seen.
saw that. Yeah, that was
And
cool.
so go check out Matt's new YouTube video on Trick Tins on YouTube. Check out the new battery is running. We're definitely looking for an update on that battery next spring to next summer, Matt, to see how that thing is performing.
I want to ask Martin a question. Martin, thanks for joining us, brother.
Martin, what's up, brother? Glad to have you. Hell yeah.
So Martin has helixes on his boat, unless you've made an upgrade that I'm not aware about.
You can Google Earth overlay on a Humminbird also.
So Martin,
That's kind of cool.
Martin, how do you feel
Fells
about
made it
this?
Florida.
How do you feel about Humminbird doing, basically saying, so, and just to be clear, the Helixes 9 and 975s, those are still going to be around, but the 10s and above are gone. The Solix line is gone. There will be no more Solixes that are made once this is out.
What?
Rodney.
Yeah.
So if you guys are out there, if you're running Helixes, if you just bought them, or maybe for like me, you've had them for a couple years. What's your opinion on this? Does this piss you off? Is this?
I think
just
so,
another
Lenny.
thing.
Yeah, I think Garmin is the lead for scoping right now.
Well, Garmin
Since
came out with
Panoptics.
it first. I mean,
it came out with it first, but
the first version of Garmin Live.
I truly thought that Humminbird was the leader at the beginning of the whole scope thing.
Oh, for sure. Before LiveScope, or Humminbird was the shit. Like they had it.
Yeah.
They had it because 360
But
was
they
like.
didn't. That's the thing.
Well, they didn't have the scope, but they had everything else. I mean, they had the side scan, they had the Mega. The Mega was instrumental. They had the Lake Master, which was awesome, and then they came out with the 360. The 360 was dominant, and then Garmin came out with Panoptics. I think that the first version of Garmin Panoptics is better than the best version of Mega Live 1.
Wow. Ken says, "Hey guys, I use 2 Helix 7-inch side MX chirps, to the second gen. Are Humminbird mapping chips worth a shit for the Upper Chesapeake and Achieved Rivers?" Paul, I think we
Actually,
said yes.
no, they're not.
Not on. If you're running a G2N, you want Navionics.
Yeah, Navionics for Tidal is definitely the way to go.
If you had like a G4N 10 or 12 that could run the VX cards, the VX for the Upper Bay is pretty badass.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's the VX? That's a Lake Master, obviously, but I'm not sure about the VX thing. So, Rob, we did talk about Motor Guide, but so for those that are watching right now, so Motor Guide obviously went out of they ceased production a couple weeks ago. Motor Guide is owned by the same parent company that owns Lowrance, so there's no reason to have a Motor Guide motor which sucked and a Lowrance Ghost which was better but still isn't great. Sorry, it's just not great. So there's no reason for them to have the Motor Guide that sucks when they have a trolling motor that a lot of people actually like if you're using Lowrance units. I don't like it, but I don't run Lowrance. Just my opinion.
Trying to figure out which one of these is. Where's Headwaters compared to Stick Marsh?
It's immediately next to it. It's immediately to the right.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of it looks green on the map, like it's hard to see it.
So there's Stick Marsh. So that's Headwaters.
That is Headwaters. Okay. That is correct. Yeah.
So yeah.
Rodney talks about the Ghost. I actually don't like the Ghost. I fished with a friend of mine from we went to VMI together, and he has had nothing but problems with his Ghost. Had nothing but problems.
I've heard nothing good about the Ghost.
I smashed my finger.
Oh, I thought you were packing a dip or something.
I was like, what is happening? He's just like.
Yeah, the Ghost sucks. My friend had a Ghost, and I used it on the Potomac for that during that.
I don't like how the head doesn't move, so I'm not used to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't like the Ghost at all.
Mr. Hanson,
I love my Quest.
Dude, I just bought one. Got a Quest.
I am absolutely.
Did you get the Quest?
I did get the Quest.
Yes.
Pretty pumped about it.
So proud of you.
You didn't catch that when we were talking about that,
dude. Like things go by so fast in the group chat sometimes.
Oh, it's pretty. Yeah.
That is like No, I'm glad you did the Quest. I think that the Quest for you and the Bullet is the best thing that you could have done. You're not going to regret that whatsoever.
No, I got a pretty good deal.
Rodney says he had his Ghost in the shop 5 to 6 times before he went back to the Ultrex. Do you have the Quest, Rodney? Did you get the Quest?
So before we get too far off topic,
I don't know anybody else who has the Quest.
Really?
Well, I know one other person. Well, I do know one other person, but
before we get too far off topic, because we got on the subject of trolling motors just a little bit, but I really think that this whole So I don't know the math off the top of my head, but I feel somewhat confident saying that probably 65 or more % of Humminbird owners out there are running almost exclusively Helix units. So taking away the Helix is bold in that.
Lenny, my best friend, has a move, and it is a piece of shit.
Yeah. I think that taking away the head unit that the majority of people that own Humminbird use is a bold move.
Well, yeah. And I think
it's a very high risk move.
I agree with that because there are a large number of people that use the Helix.
Team ADHD over here.
Nice,
For real.
Hell yeah, Murph. Hope you're doing well, brother.
So there's a large number of people that use Helix units specifically because they're not touchscreen.
I'm one of those people. 100% one of those people. And it does everything I need it to do.
And hey, while everybody's listening, shout out to everybody that's watching. We really appreciate you guys. You guys are making what we do worth doing. If you guys could do me a huge favor and just hit that like and share button.
Can I caveat to that?
Like
Absolutely. By all
and
means.
share. Hit
I know
the
you're
like
going
and
to.
share. We love you. We appreciate you.
Go
The
ahead.
Helix is great, and like I kind of did it for the same reason. Like I don't need touchscreen. I don't. It's not necessary until I was scanning with Frank's boat.
What's he have? A Solix or the Apex?
Dude, touchscreen is so much. It's
Is it?
1,000 times better.
What
than
about when
trying to
it's
use a
super
gun.
cold and you're running and you got gloves on?
Use gloves that work on a touchscreen. Like, they make
Really?
them. Yeah.
Do they actually? I'm so behind.
It
the
still
power
has
curve.
buttons too. Like you can still, it still has all the same buttons that are essentially that a Helix does. So you can scroll over. You can just hit the little over arrow and scroll over on the map. Like so, you still have all the same functions, but it has touchscreen. And you know how much easier it is to like if you're side scanning and you like say, let's say you see a
Yeah, you just touch it.
you just go doop, waypoint done.
That is it.
Boop,
Nice.
wait, instead of going "Nee," and then like when you go over, it stops your side scan,
Yes, it does.
and then you miss however far you went.
or
you
your
miss that.
active side of the screen is the this mapping side and not the other side.
right, and then you miss it because you're
Right,
you're
yeah,
moving
yeah.
too fast.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
I
the
mean, you're
share,
not
Greg.
wrong.
We appreciate
You're not
it.
wrong. You're not wrong. So Jimmy Dryden says first time, follow forever now. Man,
Rodney,
we appreciate it.
Jimmy, what's up, brother?
I agree.
That's my boy. That's Jimmy. That's my boy, Jimmy.
You
You guys ever met Jimmy?
I have not met Jimmy.
That's fucking Jimmy.
I feel left out now that I,
hope
haven't
with
met
the-
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Here's one thing that I hope
That's
they.
my boy, Jimmy. He'll be back.
Here's
Cool.
one thing that I hope they improve with the Explorer. Mm-hmm. The Solix takes like 4 minutes to turn on.
Yeah, true.
Oh, yeah.
It takes a
Ooh, that's
long
some of the
time.
low
To turn.
ran
Brings up a
shit
good
is like
point.
that.
Brings
Yeah.
up a very
Yeah.
good point. All right, this is such a pet peeve of mine, and I've only seen it once, but I really want it. Right?
Oh.
Hold
shit.
up.
Hold on. We
Things
got you.
are about
Come on.
to get tropical.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Damn it!
JK.
Click on the link. I remember in college I was fishing Lake Moomaw, and
smaller trick a smaller trick.
dude,
shad
your
is in
dog just farted and rolled, bro. That is rank. Oh my god. Anyway, I was fishing Lake Moomaw, and this dude had a brand new Ranger. It was the first year of the 4-stroke. I was like, "What is that?" And he had. I think they were still the carbons, maybe, or the Pro something.
The carbons probably.
I think they were the carbons, but
I think the pros came after the carbons.
when he put his unit
No!
on sleep, the Ranger
What are you doing
emblem.
on? He's
we
not
got-
even showing up.
I got too excited.
When he put his units on sleep, the Ranger emblem came up on the screen as like a screensaver. Like, can the Humminbirds do that? Can I have bullet like as a screensaver on
No.
my Humminbirds? Because that would be fucking sick.
No,
That would be so
they don't
cool.
give you the option to do that. There's a
So why
there's
does
a way you
Lowrance have it with Ranger?
so Lowrance you can actually customize it.
Oh, it's only a
if you-
Lowrance
yeah,
thing,
it's
but they
a-
probably don't
it's a
have
Lowrance
bullet
thing.
on there, do they?
You could probably get bullet on there. I'm pretty sure you can get whatever you want on there.
Do I have to get Lowrance units now?
I'm not.
I hope not.
I'm not super familiar with Lowrance, so
I mean, I've never used one ever. ever.
My a friend of mine that I used to fish with quite a bit had Lowrance units, and I didn't really like them that much. I've been a Humminbird person forever.
Yeah, I've always used them. I had Garmin Strikers on the Ranger before I knew anything about a fish finder. Oh, Rodney actually said that's a special anniversary edition. I have no idea. I just saw it once. And I was like, that's cool as shit. I want it.
I've seen YouTube videos of them changing what is on the Lowrance screen. I don't know how they do it, or if they're using some sort of special software or whatever it might be. But
if Humminbird put that on the Explorer, I would replace my Helixes. I'm just saying.
I see
That would be sick.
That doesn't. Why? Because it says bullet for 3 seconds.
Yes.
God,
Absolutely.
You were so easily amused.
Oh, I know, dude. It's great. Could you imagine
Dude,
being
he
one?
literally picks like 50-pound weights up off the ground. He's like, yes.
Yes, that's exactly how it goes.
I mean, I like picking 50-pound weights up off the floor too, but
I wish I had a 50-pound like weight, but it was in a bag full of fish. That would be fun. That would be cool as shit. Could you imagine?
50-pound bag.
A smallmouth?
We might have to go to Texas for that.
I know.
Not for smallmouth.
No.
I have seen some 35-pound bags of smallmouth coming from Ontario right now, though.
That's crazy, dude. That is
But you don't
insane.
want to. The conditions are not ideal.
Okay, so Ken actually has a good point. So
Great question.
Ken,
Great question,
I've
Ken.
had this exact problem. So do you?
I can
guys,
tell you how to fix that.
Do you guys have problems with graphs turning off repeatedly in rougher water? My birds do this. I think it's a wiring problem or a bird problem.
Are they Helix, Ken? Are they Helix units?
Yes.
So I had this problem with mine, and it was a part of where I had.
Did I fix yours, or did I fix somebody else's?
That was somebody else's. So what I ended up doing with mine is it was there was a little wiring connector. I had it wired up to a bus bar, and the connector
Jim, if I'm
was
fishing,
loose.
I don't care about football games.
So I would say check every connection in your wiring scheme that's running power. So usually what happens is there's something that's just moving a little bit enough
It's usually
to knock it loose.
Here we go.
It's usually the.
Hold on.
Oh, he
this
is on the treadmill.
This is amazing. This
He
is
is
amazing.
100 So usually, Ken,
Hold on.
let me answer
There
Ken's
we go.
question.
Here he is.
Thomas, I'm going to answer Ken's question real quick and tell him how to fix this. So the issue with that turning off is in the quick connect box.
Okay.
Take the quick connect box off and just connect the wires into the back of the unit. You'll never have that problem again.
Really?
Yeah. It's because the power wire ends up backing out a little bit in the quick connect unit. So when you plug the quick connect unit in, it doesn't connect all the way. And so when you hit rough water, that quick connect jiggles.
Yeah. I mean, it makes
and-
sense. Yeah.
And cuts power to your unit.
So yeah.
So just take it off.
Yeah. So check
take that quick connect off, plug them right in the back of the unit, you'll be good to go.
Check that, and anywhere where your unit is connecting to any type of bus bar or connection or something like that.
Yeah, that too. But most likely
Yeah.
it's probably that's a common problem with the quick connect box for Helix.
Did you know that Thomas is sitting in between me and you right now?
I did not know that.
That's really
but
awesome.
I saw it on the screen.
So how do you feel about this the Humminbird stuff, Thomas?
Well,
why-
first, can you guys hear me? How
Oh,
bad
yeah.
is the echo?
It's
No,
okay.
you're
It's
good,
good,
brother.
brother. You're
Perfect.
good. Loud and clear.
Okay, cool. My thoughts on now. Full disclosure: I have Humminbird. I have Humminbird and Garmin is what I run. I have a Helix 15 for the audience that I run my Mega 360 on. I've always felt like the last couple of years when forward-facing center technology became the thing, Lowrance and Humminbird were really behind the eight ball. Lowrance did a lot more catching up. I would say, depending on how you view it, the first attempt by Humminbird to do the live really faltered compared to the other companies, which is why you saw so many people not wanting exclusive Humminbird deals. With all that said, what the Helix did is it really did niche that blue collar market, where if you just wanted a big ass screen to run side scan at the console, you could get that. If you try to get a comparable 15-inch screen from Garmin, you're going to have to sell one of your children.
How much was your 15?
15,
'Cause they're not
just the
cheap.
head unit,
It was It was one of his children. That's why he doesn't have it.
basically. Yeah, the Helix 15, as I'm oxygen depleted on a treadmill right now for an hour, I think it was like $2,000
No
for
way.
just the head unit.
Wow.
Yeah, because I got a deal on it.
Oh, if you got a
And-
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking like retail price.
Yeah. So, but then if you try to go type in right now to get a Garmin 15 or 16-inch unit, It's like what, $4,000?
Something like that. It's expensive.
$5,000?
It's definitely
Oh
more
yeah,
than
they're
2.
They're
Yeah.
they're
It's quite a
expensive.
bit more than 2.
It's well, 2 is a deal. So looking at like full retail, a Helix 15 is like $3,400.
Yeah, but not anymore. I mean, even from Humminbird, they're discounted a lot because
Nothing's
of
discounted
everything
from
that's
Humminbird.
going on. Well, if you buy from Humminbird right now, you're crazy because everywhere that's selling
Right.
these things has got them for like $500 to $1,000 off because they're going away.
So you can get a Helix. You can get a Helix 15 right now at Bass Pro Shops for $16.99.
Dude, that's a steal. Oh my god, I want to buy one.
Tony, buy one.
And
I should. Ooh, don't
And if
tempt
you're
me with a good
running like
time.
Mega 360, this is a great time to get it because you're going to have
Yeah.
that big screen. Listen, it was like me finding a new religion when I went from my 10-inch Helix for 360 to 15 just for 360. It just pulls that image out and makes it so much easier to see.
Yeah.
So this is a great opportunity for people. If you just want something to run the 360, go buy this right now. I think it'd be perfectly fine.
I don't think I can fit
This
a 15
this
on
is
front of
a
my boat.
this is a great idea for anybody that wants to get into the world of learning how to use graphs to fish to
Yeah.
take their skills to a different level, because this is a point in time where you can put a graph on your boat that you might have not been able to put on your boat before, that's going to give you the better detail that you've been looking for.
I do think that the fact that the Helixes are super discounted right now is good for people that don't use, like you just said, that don't usually have the opportunity to grab a 12 or a 15-inch unit. I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. I considered grabbing a 15 today. I might do it still.
I bought my first Helixes. I bought Helix Gen 1s when I bought my Champion.
I'm really big into things that are 15 inches.
Guess what? I bought them when they discontinued them because I was able to get them cheap.
And-
You know, so it is, and I wasn't worried about them being discontinued because they're still going to do the same functions they do today that they're
Right.
going to do
Exactly.
in 5 years.
Right.
Question really quick. So we've talked a couple times about the differences between 360 and live scope, but do you think there's going to be any updates to 360 with this new Explorer Humminbird unit?
No.
Is
They're
360 going to become any more clear? Or?
360 is essentially just a side scan transducer that spins.
Okay, so that begins. When are we going to have a live scope transducer that spins 360?
I mean, it's a thought.
When
Like,
people,
why wouldn't they?
When people stop buying forward-facing sonar units.
Because they'd be too intelligent. Like, they've had the patents on 360 for God knows how long. It took
Right.
how many years for them to give us Mega? Like, it
5 years.
is a great,
think it was
yeah,
five-
it's a
5
great
years.
set it and forget it. You can just have it spinning. I don't have to point the trolling motor, and I can actually cover water. You're like, oh, there's a stump over there I didn't know was there. Then I can point the trolling motor with my live scope.
Right.
So
I need to get 360, dude.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm gonna
it
get it.
is so freaking good. If you're just going down a bank at a new place, you don't have to sit behind the console. You are hunting while you're fishing because it's just constantly rotating.
Right, the one. So Rodney French says 360 needs to make a 180 live, but I feel like the
Perspective
The
mode?
perspective mode is almost what that is.
It's not 180, but it's like
It's close.
like,
It's close enough.
it's like 120, right?
I
No,
think it's
maybe-
like 100.
Yeah,
I think
100.
it's 100 degrees. I can't remember, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, if they discontinue units, they discontinue units. That's electronics. It's not like Samsung makes the same TV, for 20 years in a row. LG doesn't make the same, to the same TVs 20 years in a row. Apple doesn't make the same iPhone 20 years in a row. That's, they make a new one every year. Like that's the nature of electronics. If you want your electronics to do newer and better things, they're going to have to come out with new units. And they can't come out with new units and continue to make all of the older units.
I really think the Helix had an incredible run. I think it was one of the
Why-
most dominant fish finders ever.
Why does
personally.
it almost feel like this influx in technology from Humminbird is it not short-lived, but why does it feel like it? Why does it feel like this unit is dropping like right after? Not right after
I have a question.
fucking live scope comes out, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Here's a question. So, why is there all of this hubbub about Humminbird and these new units? Lowrance has discontinued like 4 units in the last 6 years.
What?
The carbons.
They started.
Did they discontinue the carbons?
Carbons are
Yeah,
gone.
carbons are
Carbons are gone,
discontinued.
yeah.
Then they went to the pro. Then they went to the lives. Then the live was discontinued, and it went to the pro.
Yeah.
You know, they.
No excuse.
You know, the same
excuse.
thing has happened. You know, I feel
Well, you're
like
answering
good
your own
point.
question.
Well, I
You're
just feel
answering
like
your own question.
Exactly.
People have more passion for the Helix than what Lowrance had.
I mean, yeah, that's
Humminbird
possible.
has been a big player in bass fishing for longer.
Well, and it could be too that I don't. It's not like I hang out on Lowrance forums or
Well,
anything because
right.
Lowrance
I think
sucks.
the reason why the Helix was so popular is there was a lot of guys, like Gerald Swindle was one of them, who was a Humminbird guy. Brian Thrift, who ran Helixes. They did not run the Solixes. They didn't run the Apex. They ran the Helix.
What's up, Andrew? Thanks
And I
for
feel
joining,
like
brother.
A lot of people.
Because
Andrew,
don't
you can
need
get
touch
live scope on that fat ass kayak you got. I guarantee it.
He doesn't fish water deep enough to use live scope in.
We got stars. We have a
Hey,
hook
we got
of
the
stars.
stars.
I don't know what that means, but it's cool as
Hey.
shit.
I think we just made like a nickel.
So-
Pay taxes on that.
I got the T12 12-inch cheap because they were discontinued for $1,000 at Bass Pro. Yeah, that's the.
Oh my god.
Before we get too far,
cheap Lowrance,
we
yeah.
need to set a date. Maybe not right now. Andrew, while you're watching, we want you on the show.
Andrew,
We want you on the show.
Do you know what-
I'm a
Get
lazy,
on a bike.
I'm a lazy piece of shit, and I haven't messaged you like I should. But we want you on the show. Whenever you want to come on, you tell us. You're on.
so
Let's go.
Andrew, you would be surprised what live scope in perspective mode would do for you in that shallow grass.
And-
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah. No, 100%. So,
So something I want to add to it. The one issue I think Lowrance and Humminbird are going to have, if they're going to follow the tech trap that Apple has basically made famous of a new product and making the software only compatible with the newest thing, is fishing is not like your iPhone. The mass majority of people don't want to stay up with the technology. What's nice with Garmin is they don't care if the fishing industry goes away. They're set with their whole conglomerate. So they'll just make a damn good product that you can have on your boat, and generally speaking, it'll work for a couple of years.
Right.
Yeah. Just like everything will work right now, but you're not going to get the updates that.
Scott Dice said Hummingbird's way easier to navigate the menus. Scott, I
100%.
I disagree with
I
that.
love Humminbird, but God, Garmin is so easy.
Lowrance is easier than Garmin and Humminbird, in my opinion.
I don't know. That Garmin menu is just like, oh, boop, boop,
Bro,
done.
Lowrance has like 3 buttons you can hit. It doesn't even get more detailed than that.
Well, the Garmin's just home settings. Home,
Maybe
side
that's
scan,
maybe that's
home,
to say how
this.
shit it is, but either way.
I love the Garmin menu. The Garmin menu is very, very good. Not that I ever use it, you know, but
Thomas, your
Now,
opinion?
the Lowrance, though, the Lowrance's waypoint management system has always been like the shit.
Yeah.
That's why you
Phenomenal,
get
yeah.
Lowrance, is you can organize your waypoints so much better. But again, like the Humminbird thing is, do you need a touchscreen? Is that just a cost that you not necessarily need? Why don't more people go with a unit that like, hey, we'll give you the processing power, because that's what it is processing power. But do you actually need a massive touchscreen when it's 32 degrees outside and you can't feel your fingertips?
I will. So the nice thing, and that's the nice thing I like about the Solix, and the Explorer is going to have the same thing, is you have the option of using the buttons as well. And
That's the one thing I hate about the Garmin that I have, is it's just you don't have that functionality.
I agree. Yeah, the Solix, if you I don't know if you've ever used a Solix, you have the full touchscreen, but you have a column of buttons on the side that's very similar to the Helix. You can do pretty much the same stuff, and it's super easy to use. And if you've never used touchscreen for like side scan, like when you're scanning, it like I thought I didn't need touchscreen until I was scanning on my best friend. We were down in Texas and I'm scanning on my best friend's boat. Like, you know, he's like, oh, I'm tired, I'm gonna take a nap, like, because we're literally just idling Lake Conrail for hours, and I start scanning and I'm just like, oh, brush pile, boop. I'm like, oh, this is nice.
oh, you know, Murphy.
It's so much nicer. It's
Murphy
so much nicer.
Murphy
with
has a good
touchscreen.
point. It says, just like Team
Murph.
Marine said today, it would be great if these companies would make a head unit and just keep sending software updates versus buying new units all the time. I
Well, yeah, that was my
understand
point
that.
earlier.
Yeah.
Shout out to Team Marine Services. Love you guys. Cannot wait to come up
Be
there
right
in the
back.
next coming months. Check out that bullet.
Yeah, and Rodney, right, in response to what you said, Thomas, Rodney said, the processors are probably the more expensive part of the manufacturing cost rather
right.
than the screen. LCD screens are
Hi,
are
Monica.
cheap. They're not expensive.
How are you?
Yeah, it's all about the processing power. And again, this is why if I was Lowrance or Humminbird, I'd be scared. Is Garmin can make a product where they could make a unit that is user friendly, that is cheap, and could last for several updates if they want to. Because if they break even, they don't care. They're going to sell some watches and make up for it. Humminbird and Lowrance, they need that money.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting how I think from a business perspective, Garmin has the fishing industry by the balls. They have the best. This will be a hot debate. They have the best forward-facing sonar. They have pretty good touchscreens. I think they bought Navionics, if I'm not mistaken,
They did,
or they
yeah.
own some kind of rights to it. And then they could be like, "Hey, we just don't need this, and we're going to go home." So, how is Lowrance and Humminbird going to be able to compete with that? And if their thought is, "Hey, we're just going to crank out new units every 2 years," is the vast majority of fishermen going to want to update their units every 2 years? Can they afford to?
No, absolutely not.
So Rodney has, I think Rodney hit the nail on the head. He says the processors are the expensive part of the manufacturing cost, not the screen.
Yeah, you were in the shitter when we talked about that already.
110%.
Oh, I missed it. Okay, but just to recap, right? Like you're spending
didn't
more
really
on
touch on that, but
you're spending more on the head unit because you don't require the black box. That's you're paying the money no matter
So
what.
it almost goes back to that whole extra cost of the black box that I brought up earlier in our conversation when we were talking about Humminbird.
You're paying the money no matter what. You're either
Right.
paying for the more expensive head unit with the processing power for, in my opinion, a lesser product, and you can just pay for the black box. And even with the LVS 32, it's still better than any live imaging Hummingbird's ever put out. In my opinion.
I would say
thought the LVS
Mega Live. I would say Mega Live now after the updates is better than 32.
Really?
Yeah.
I would vehemently disagree with that. Personally, that's just my opinion, though.
Have you used it?
Yes.
Yes. I don't
Where?
even have it, and I've used it.
On Liberty last week.
Tom's got it.
Tom.
Over.
No, he's got the 32.
He's got Garmin.
He's got Garmin.
That's what I'm saying. He has Garmin. You're
have a
talking
34.
about the 32 transducer
He's
of
a-
Garmin.
Yeah. I'm
Versus
telling you,
Humminbird.
The Humminbird. Have you used the Humminbird? The Humminbird, the
No, I've seen the
Humminbird
Garmin.
now is better than the 30. It's not as good as the 34. It's not as good as Active Target, but it's better than the 32.
I would
What's your
really,
opinion
I
on
would
this, Tom?
really have to see it in order to be able to agree with that because I've seen major differences
Just from
between
using
that
both.
32 and Hummingbird's older shit.
I think the 32 is leaps and bounds.
I'm just saying
better
I've
than
used
Mega Live.
I have personally used both, and the Humminbird after updates it's not terrible.
But it's not as good.
It's not terrible.
It's
but
not terrible. Like I said, it's nowhere close to the 34.
That's
but-
a great question. When will a wireless transducer come
Well,
out?
before we get into that, I
Holy
want to hear
shit.
Tom's opinion.
I don't think-
You know what?
Is
That
the
might
Mega
be the question of the fucking night right now. When
good
is a
question.
wireless transducer coming out?
when you get
I don't know.
batteries to power it?
When you get
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we have that.
Not really.
But you're not going to want a wireless connection.
you don't want
Yeah.
there's
You're going
too,
to want a cable.
there's too much interference.
I feel like we're going with wireless everywhere, though.
I'll believe it. I mean, if it makes sense.
Eventually-
you know what
whatever.
okay, so
Eventually,
You don't
your
want-
batteries will charge your screens, and they won't even have wires connecting.
But hold on, I want to get back to the original question. And for those that,
you'll
that
never
have kind of
that.
been in and out,
maybe
we got
eventually. maybe
You
in
will
maybe
be.
in 50 years.
Eventually, you will.
Tom from Fishing the DMVs at the gym, but he joined us
Screen will just
anyway.
be
So
all solar panel.
They're going to be sitting on like a big charge
Yeah, right.
pod, like on the front of the boat.
The
Like,
screen's just a solar panel. Like it all charges itself. There's no battery needed.
So Tom, what in your opinion is Mega Live 1 better than LVS 32 Live Scope?
Before or after all the updates?
After
Andrew. for
After
sure.
all the updates.
apples to apples, right now to right now.
I think if you just looked at it strictly analytically, you could say it's a little bit better. But because of the baggage of it being released, it's like getting a model car that killed a bunch of people, but they fixed the updates. Well, great, but it still has a track record of killing a bunch of people.
Those damn Pintos.
So, yeah, exactly.
Did
And,
they kill
again,
the right people, though?
what are we talking about here? The car?
I don't know.
I mean,
I think the 32
United-
is a little bit better.
United Healthcare.
Oh my god!
But
I'm going down that
it's
rabbit
almost it's such a frivolous conversation because like I guess in this point is if you're arguing between two outdated units when in general you wouldn't tell anyone to buy either one today. You tell them to go get the 34 or Lowrance's, which is pretty damn good, or the newest edition Humminbird. Like so it.
But
I
even
just, why did it take them so long?
I wouldn't tell somebody to get the newest Humminbird.
But is the new?
I wouldn't either.
But
Because
is,
you don't, you just don't know. We don't know what it looks like. We don't know what it does. Until I can see it in person.
Well, I'm talking about the 34.
Well, no, you said the newest Humminbird.
is the newest?
Oh, I'm sorry,
The
I was thinking
52? Is it a 52?
What?
What is the
Garmin?
the newest Garmin unit is a 52, right?
No.
I'm talking about the black box for Garmin
It's
versus
the
the
34.
new
32,
thing for
34,
Humminbird. Yeah.
34. And then the XR, which is the saltwater version.
I don't know if because I did before I purchased my sonar for my boat.
Yeah.
I did look at the new units
Oh, the
that
50
are dropping for the Garmin.
So you're talking about the side scan transducer, the 54 and the 56.
Yes, the size scanners of the 54.
Okay,
But I didn't see the difference in price being worth going to the 54 transducer over the 32 that I have now. Is there a clarity difference?
you have the
There
54.
is a slight clarity difference. Is it enough to make it worth spending $2,000 more? I don't think so. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, my 30.
The other thing that you're getting too with if you're talking about getting the non-discounted Garmin versus the discounted Garmin, the non-discounted is the Ultra 2, which has a better screen.
Oh shit!
Dude, Murphy's going down the rabbit hole right now.
Murph is on fire right now. Robert Murphy says, imagine, Thomas, listen to this. Imagine having to password protect your transducer so that Joe Biden, he said Joe Mama, but I'm going to say Joe Biden, next to you on the flats doesn't connect to your transducer to see what you're seeing.
Oh my god.
That is wild to even think about.
Well, I mean, think of it this: you can still do that nowadays because I'm running that tournament on Tourney X for Patreon supporters, and they're like, "Well, I don't want to give up my spots." It's like, I could hack your iPhone right now and figure out where you are, right? Like you have that already there.
Right? Yeah.
So
you're not wrong.
But one question I would have for you guys is Garmin, because I think it's the MBT system. You can get a 52-inch screen on the front of your boat if you choose to.
Yeah.
But that doesn't
52?
work.
I think it's
exaggerating.
But
22,
point
I think,
is,
is actually
Garmin-
what it is.
23.
It's 22 inches.
22?
It's
I thought it was
22, 18, and 16. I think are the three. Or you guys should Google it. I don't have another screen right now. But the point is, Garmin hasn't clamped down on that. Garmin allows you to have that accessory. Will Humminbird or Lowrance allow for you just to buy the unit, but then hook it up to a bigger screen?
Yeah. I mean, that's
a
fair point. But
fair question.
Look at the cost of the units that you have to do to be able to hook it up to that screen.
But if you want to get a bigger screen, which, spoiler, I'm going to be getting an MBT probably next year for the front of my boat, the 18. It has higher processing power. It's going to blow up the image. It's going to make it easier to see fish. Size matters with live scope. It
All
really
the time.
does.
Oh,
It's
never
so
mind.
much easier. Yeah, 100%. You got it. It's a
But is
13-inch
that-
screen is way easier than a 10-inch.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, especially especially when you have bad eyesight and
Exactly. No, I agree with you.
it's the bigger it is, the easier it is to see. So like
We had Mr.
disagree
Robert.
with that.
Mr. Robert Murph says I had 7 months in Poland to think of this.
Yeah, right.
what is that thing? The battleship, right?
So it's the NBT.
Battleship.
Yeah, NBT. That is insane. So one of the guys that we fish
The
with,
battleship is crazy.
one of the guys that we fish with
How
in the
big is
Con
it?
Wingo tournaments, he has
22.
one. It's a Mr. Herb's got one, and it is mind
Right?
blowing.
Yeah, 22.
And one more time before we get too deep into this, we got 21 people watching us right now. We appreciate you guys so much. If you would do me a huge favor, just hit that like and that share button. I would appreciate you forever. Thank you so much.
So if you're, I will say, like, if you're just looking for size, that's what she said.
Who?
You got the big dick.
So you have to run an 8612 or higher to be able to run that NBT. And the 8612 is a $3,200 unit. On top of that, you're buying a $3,600 screen. So you're getting into that
but you're
realm of.
But if you want to get an 18-inch, you can. But what you can do if you want to get like the 16, again, I got this stupid little phone. I can't check it, but let's say you get the 16-inch NBT, the same size as the other 16 from Garmin. I think you save about $1,500, $2,000. So you can just have one unit at the console, buy this unit, and you save $1,000.
$31.90.
And you get the size.
$31.99 for the 16-inch, and the Garmin.
Come on.
86,
Andrew's got some of them North Carolina tanks that we gotta talk about.
You said
Tony, thanks for that like, brother. Tony Dembski.
So Tom, I don't know. I don't remember what you said how much cheaper it would be.
Like $1,000.
Like
Between a 16 and a 16.
Like 2,500.
2,500.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
The 86 now the 8616 is $5,700.
Wait. So you're saying it's cheaper to get the 12 and then the big screen?
So you can get a 12 mounted at your console.
I'm
so
sorry,
you can use it at your
South Carolina, North Carolina.
Oh, that's all you gotta
is
do?
insulting
Run the
deal.
NBT on the front.
South
oh my
Carolina.
god, that's crazy.
So then you run.
So South Kakalaka.
You'll have a 16-inch NBT at the
This is
front.
what crack-a-lackin'.
A 16-inch NBT at the front. You have your 12-inch at the back.
Oh my god, dude, that's
for the price of
crazy.
two 12s, essentially.
That is insane.
So you get 4 more inches.
That's
of
what's
screen for the same
crazy.
price.
Wow.
But
I didn't know
Garmin
that.
hasn't clamped
Did
down
not
on
know that.
But there are some limitations to it as well.
That makes a difference to anyone.
I did not know that. That's pretty
Agreed.
wild. That's pretty wild, dude. I didn't know that.
And what's wild, again, they didn't clamp down on it. Garmin didn't make it so it's not compatible. They're fine with it.
Because Garmin doesn't care. Because
they already
fishing is-
have the whole market cornered.
They're
Well,
the
no,
leader
it's
in
not
the
that
whole
they-
fucking thing. Like,
It's not that they have the market cornered. It's that the fishing industry is such a little part of their actual.
Yeah,
Income.
true.
I
Dude,
mean,
remember
it's
when
a
we all had Garmin
small
fucking
percentage.
GPSs in the car?
Yeah.
And it would
Yes.
yell at you?
Yeah.
And it was always wrong?
Do you know how
remember
much-
you would miss it and be like, hey, dumbass, you just
Yeah,
missed
right.
the exit.
Do you know how much money that Garmin makes off of just GPS patents?
But, like, who has that anymore?
No,
It's just, like,
not-
built into your truck.
Not that. The GPS patents.
Okay,
Oh,
the
a ton.
patent.
Yeah.
A ton.
Yeah.
A ton.
So, I would like to know
It's-
who
it's
went out
crazy.
and actually did the mapping for Garmin.
That's a good question.
So,
Well, like for
Because,
avionics,
like, how
you just
can
bought the
because
rights, right?
how can right? You have like Navionics and the different things, but is there different companies that do the different mapping systems for Garmin, Humminbird, and Lowrance? Like, what companies do they
Lake
hire?
Master.
Or what people do they hire to decipher between their mapping?
So the mapping is done. So specific companies do mapping, and
Yeah.
they have these people that go out and they have these giant sonar pods, and they go out and they just drive around a lake and they map a lake.
Yeah.
Right? So it's essentially they're contracting out people to go do that. To answer your question, Chad.
Be right back.
And what if I'll get you his number, but Greg from New Horizon Boat Builds, he worked for Lake Master for like 2 years, mapping out the Great Lakes. So he would be a cool guy to get on your show just to talk about that side of things.
Yeah,
that
just
would
about
be
how
very interesting.
how that comes about, how we get these, 1 foot contour mapping chips.
And that's like something I've been like pondering for a while. Is like as the mapping gets so good, is side scan as important on Lake Gunnersville that has been mapped so much you know every rock. It's no longer about discovering a new rock. It's about is there a fish on there, yes or no.
Right.
Well, then that's going to be your live scope more. Like it's a crazy world that we're in now.
Yeah, it definitely is crazy. And like you said, the difference, or the only thing with, it's not like mapping changes, right? So
Yeah.
river, the river channel changes.
Oh, yeah.
The flats,
Rivers,
the flats
tidal
change.
rivers.
Everything changes. Yeah, as long as there's flow. Like if it's something that's like there's no flow in, it's rarely going to change. Or if it's like Ontario is pretty much solid rock bottom, it's not going to change. Then yes, but like when you get into like some of your like lowland reservoirs that get a lot, there's a lot of flooding and stuff like that, stuff changes drastically. So mapping is only as good as the last time that it was out, you know? The last time that it was actually mapped.
Yeah, and you wonder with that, like, how important is it now? Like, how much of a statistical advantage does it give you to run Navionics and Lake Master? Like,
So-
is it just something for the 1%ers, or is it literally that big of an advantage it's worth investing?
I would say it's for the 1%ers, but my buddy was running both. He was running, running Lake Master and Navionics on the St. Lawrence.
What's up, Little John? Welcome back.
He said, that there were certain things that were more accurate on Navionics, and there were certain things that were more accurate on Lake Master. Like shoals that were marked on Navionics would be 20 to 30 feet off. So of where Navionics said they were, versus where they actually were, they would be 20 to 30 feet off. So,
insane. Like, that is a huge discrepancy.
Oh yeah, especially if you're, trying not to destroy your lower unit.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Which is also why you get that big warning that pops up every time you load a map card that says, "Do not use this for navigational purposes."
Nice.
What generation of Solix are you running?
So I'm running Helix. My best friend my tournament partner runs.
Gotcha.
He runs Solix G3s.
I have the Gen 1, and I think that put a bad taste in my mouth with the Solix things because it's like a simple jack. It takes so long to turn it on and to
It didn't.
get it to go up and down.
That didn't get any better with the Gen 3. It takes about 4 minutes for his units to turn on.
Good lord.
That's why I like the Helixes,
Why
man.
do they
They're
have
just
this
super
issue?
simple.
But once they're on, dude, they're fantastic.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things that I like about his Solix over my Helix. I mean, it's...
Wait a minute. We got to get to this comment. Scott says, ice does move boulders.
That's true.
My mind was just blown right now.
You can, yeah.
Ice moves boulders.
Well, think about it. If you have an ice flow coming down the river, like springtime thaw out, right? And you have a massive amount of ice coming down the river, and that massive amount of ice pushes against a, let's call it a 5 foot wide boulder. 5 foot wide boulder weighs a lot, but when you have, 20 tons of ice pushing on it, it'll move it.
Yeah.
Dude, my mind was just blown right now.
Lucas talked about that when he won up at the Great Lakes about 4 or 5 years ago as glacier deposits. Like, that's a big thing on the Great Lakes is to look at where the glaciers drop rock.
What?
Andrew,
So that doesn't happen in
That is insane, dude.
Andrew, thanks for joining the podcast, man. We really love having you on here. Can't wait to talk to you in the future. Thanks for joining.
That is one of the coolest things I've ever heard. That's one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
Send that to me, Andrew. I will give you my honest opinion on it.
Oh, by the way, Chad, I just sent you a picture. JCS knocked out another bullet, a 20cc build that you guys might want to check out.
Going back to the
glacier,
glacier,
double-fisted beers.
going back to the glacier deposits, Tony. The glacier deposits are from millions of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like from last week or something. No. Okay. No, that makes
Million.
sense.
The
This
glacier
from
deposits
millions of
from
years ago.
last week.
Yeah, I don't know. You never know.
But yeah, in the river, like in the Susquehanna, yeah, ice will move boulders. It depends on the size of the boulder, and it depends on how much ice gets built up behind it.
Can you look at the picture I just sent you? Can we share that real quick?
Did you send it to me on my
I
personal?
sent it to Bass and Beer Radio. Would you like me? Is it easier for me to send it to your personal?
It is.
All right, let me
Yes.
do that real quick. So our buddies at JCS Marine have been building. I actually saw it when I was up there when I dropped my boat off in May. A 20cc bullet. It is mind blowing what's happening right now.
JCS Marine is literally the
Hold
baddest.
on. Fuck you, John Hanson the fourth.
What do you say?
Whoa.
All right, go ahead. Continue.
Oh, you know what? I read the comment. You had that coming deal.
Continue.
JCS Marine is one of
Oh,
the most
we
badass restoration machine shop or marine shops on the East Coast. Period. Hands down. If you have not going to JCS Marine
Moving into their fourth
and their
shop.
Facebook post, their Facebook profile to check out what they have going on, you're missing out.
I think he turned it off.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost Tom.
Yeah, I just turned off my screen because I'm taking
okay.
a piss.
Okay, he's good.
Tom's getting dressed. Are we after 9 o'clock yet? No. Okay.
Wait,
damn
you're
it.
you're getting dressed and you turn the camera off? What
just-
the?
You just made.
Yeah,
Chad
this is
very
not
sad.
that kind of show yet.
So,
I'm just saying, I'm very horny right now.
Oh my god.
oh god. On
What
that
kind
note,
of beer are you drinking?
So let's pull up the 20cc bullet real quick before we get
Well-
banned.
he is drinking Bud Light.
Yeah, there you have it.
He's got a point.
So we're gonna pull up the 20cc bullet that JCS made. I sent it to your personal, so you should have it on
To
Facebook.
the old personal.
These guys knocked this build out, man. When I saw, so I came up here and I went up and I saw the boat.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's a good picture too.
Wow.
So we're gonna figure out a way to share it here. But so when I went up there, keep in mind this boat was in two pieces. The top cap was off. The hull was sitting in like wooden workhorses with a tarp over it, and I just peeked under the tarp, and John was like, "Oh yeah, that thing." Dude, to see where the boat was and to see where it is now is insane, dude. These guys do mind blowing stuff up there. I mean,
It's insane.
it's absolutely ridiculous.
That would be a really cool go fast boat, but I'd hate fishing off of it.
Yeah, because it would literally make you feel terrible.
Well, look at the size. No, look at the size of the front deck.
So this is the boat right now. This is the boat that JCS showed. This is the John sent me this picture yesterday or today. I can't remember.
I would fall off of that front deck multiple times throughout the day.
Dude, when I tell you that boat was completely clapped. Like they had the top cap. This is a brand new bullet.
Dude, look at this thing.
This is a brand new boat. Like I don't even know what year it was originally came off the factory, but this boat is brand new. Like it is unbelievable.
Look at this
the stuff
thing.
that these guys are.
It
That
looks
definitely
like a brand new boat being installed. And that's the center. Oh, that's the center console bullet.
Yes.
God damn.
So you're sitting in the middle.
Dude, that thing probably rolls the fuck out.
He said it's
dude.
going to be a 100-mile-an-hour boat with a 250 all day long,
Like, all
no
day.
question, no question.
I should have bought it.
Why is
Dude, you should have bought the center console Gambler and took it up there.
Yeah.
That would have been sick.
There'll be more.
That would have been so sick.
There'll be more. It's still cheaper than buying a new Skeeter.
Can't
God,
can't
yeah.
take it with you, Chad. Just remember.
Yeah, I can't take any of it with me, so what the
Exactly.
Right,
fuck
so you
does
might as
that
well
matter?
spend it all.
Might as well spend it.
Right.
But yeah, that thing is like,
Thanks
Dude,
to Joe Biden, I
They
don't have
can't
any
claim
of
the
it now.
debt if you're dead.
right.
Tom, what do you think about this boat, brother?
So-
what would you think about a freaking center console bullet, my dude?
you-
Where would you run it around here? That's the problem with like the Bass Cats and stuff. It's like this thing will go 400 miles an hour. Okay, you go do that on the Upper Bay or the Potomac when the wind's blowing.
You would go from the
Godspeed to you.
gunpowder
So-
to the freaking lower bay in about
Surprisingly-
30 minutes.
Yeah.
21-foot bullets handle rough water really well.
Yeah.
From what
Yeah.
John was telling us.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll handle it, but how fast are you gonna be taking that thing? That's what I'm asking.
Well, yeah, you don't have
at 120
to go
miles
that
an hour. Yeah.
I have a feeling with Tony Schultz in the driver's seat, we will see 82 to 85.
Loaded.
Like you're gonna see
Loaded.
God.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
might
mean,
see God, too.
honestly, I'm kind of every single day since I know that we've been having to go up and pick up this boat, I've been praying to Jesus that
That Tony doesn't kill
because,
him.
like, dude, I don't have an option. We do Bass and Beer Radio. I have to get in this boat
To film.
with my camera to film. I do not have an option. Whether I want to do it or not, I fucking have to.
To be fair, we could just stick the GoPro on the boat and send Tony out and be like, "See ya."
Yeah, it's just like, and that has been a thought process this entire time because I feel death is imminent.
Eminent.
I'm trying to think of the, I'm
Whatever
trying to,
you want to call it. It's a 90 to 100 mile an hour boat, and I'm just saying, Tony's never driven a
John,
boat
you'll
this
lose.
fast.
I'm trying to think of what
You
song.
won't win. Dude, that Bass Cat is fast as shit. It's
said
not
with a-
touching the bullet though.
He did say it was a 300 though.
It's still not touching it because the 250 XB is like a 285 on a
Dude,
bullet hole.
John's Bass Cat
so
is
fast.
fast as shit. That Bass Cat is fast as fuck, dude.
So
It's the fastest boat I
It
have
feels
ever
like
been.
a
but-
kayak,
Until
though,
I get in your
honestly.
boat.
wait a minute. So
But when
John,
you've never been in a fast boat, when you hit like that like 75 point,
it's like whoa.
that's fast as balls.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like when he hit that 75 point,
And that boat starts to feel like it floats.
Dude, it felt like I was on a magic
Yeah,
carpet
that's-
just
Yeah.
going across the water all of a sudden. I was like, this isn't even real.
When you get to that floating point, it doesn't feel like you're actually on
So
water
John
anymore.
actually had.
Hey, thanks for the follow, Jeff. Appreciate you, brother.
So John had a 21 SS bullet, and John, how fast did
John
you have
said-
that going?
John said your bullet's gonna hurt some feelings.
Yeah, I know it will.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's
We
actually
are
it's almost done, dude.
110% for the 2025 season. Tony's boat will be entered into the shootout.
Oh, yeah.
Period. It will enter into the shootout under my dime on
Tony.
Bass and Beer Radio, and he
John
will
said
race
Irish are
it.
fast.
All right, John. If you had to pick one, if you were a
Look,
betting
keep
man,
your goddamn boat up there
So,
in
John.
freaking Rhode Island when this race goes
John.
on, okay?
Real question. Tony's bullet with a 250 XB versus an Ira with a 300.
Ooh, goddamn.
Which one's going out there? John has the knowledge to answer this question.
that's
Tom,
true.
he is going to pass everything but a fucking gas station, my dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, bro. There's tons of China walk. It's a bullet.
I'm
like-
very excited for this thing.
Yeah,
I'm
them
actually,
Bass
like-
Cats, man. It's
I
just
know
like a
you're
kayak.
excited, but I'm scared.
I'm not getting in
scared.
it.
That's what I'm saying. Paul won't even get in it. I have to get in it. I don't even have an option. I have to.
It would be different if you owned that bullet for like 10 years. I would get in the bullet with you.
All right, John.
10 years from now, I'll get in the bullet with you.
John,
That's what
you're
I'm saying. I have like 4 months before
now.
I get in this thing and just freaking haul dick across the
you
water.
might
John,
have
say-
like 4 weeks before you get in this.
Yeah,
thing.
I'm sorry. That was like I was being generous.
John, say equal caliber drivers.
Hi, Virgil. Thanks for joining us,
So-
brother. Appreciate it. He's
So-
from Manchester, England. That is
Hey!
awesome.
Hell, that is
Hey,
really
Yeah, thanks
cool.
Hell
for
yeah.
thanks for coming in.
So a good point here that you guys are making is speed the most important thing when you're looking for a boat.
No,
No.
No, but it is a factor for sure.
but
It is a factor.
it's fun. I mean,
It might have been all of Tony's factor, but it is a factor.
it's fun for a second. I can tell you. I can tell you when my Skeeter started shine
Like
walk.
most things in life.
When I had
Yeah, right.
when I had nothing in my Skeeter and I'm running it up the gunpowder at 74 miles an hour while videoing, sending it to Chad, and the back of the boat's just going.
Yeah, no.
It was not fun.
John Hansen, no, that's not going to happen. I've already been instructed that you are not getting in that boat.
So, John, for all intents and purposes, you're driving the Era and you're driving the Bullet. What's faster? John said it'd be a tight race with the
Tight
300.
race. There you go.
Really?
But but
Ira
from
with a
your
300.
250 XB that's old to a 300, that's a lot of different technology.
Oh yeah.
Like, so the fact that your XB is going to hang with that 300 at that point is kind of big in
the
my
XB
opinion.
is just angry. It's just
You know
it's
what the-
made of hatred. That's why it's
The
so
nice thing
fast.
about boats is like
Hey,
that
trick.
technology doesn't factor in as much as it does in
Like
like
trucks
a
and
car
stuff.
or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Because essentially all that's turning your prop is RPMs from the motor.
Yep.
So as long as you have the power to turn the prop and you are turning enough RPMs, you go fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have a freaking two-stroke or now getting to that speed might be different, between the two because you got more torque and stuff like that. But as far as top end goes,
But also the Era's 20 foot, right?
it's all physics.
The Era's a 20-foot hull. The Bullet's 22.
20 feet.
John
is
says we will be putting a rear-facing camera on the CC to watch you both cry.
Dude, John's gonna come. Dude, John's gonna come down to the shootout, and I'm gonna have it in the bag, and I'm gonna see that CC.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I was like, John, you keep your shit up in Rhode Island.
John's
during
gonna
this
show
freaking
up.
Shootout.
John gonna
Yeah, you
show
can-
up at the shootout and just hurt everyone's feelings.
John,
Oh my
John
God.
you can come in 2026.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't put that Bass and Beer Radio rap on there for no reason.
Right. Let me have this one. You can have the rest of them.
We got to go to the shootout and get some followers.
Oh, I know. Dude,
If a Bass and Beer Radio bullet wins that freaking
the
race, shootout, we're going off.
Yeah, you got to make
We're
sure
going off all day.
Put the Bass, the Bass and Beer Radio Instagram on the side of the boat.
Yeah, 110%. Like the freaking little thing so they can scan it with their phone.
Virgil says I look like O.J. Simpson Jr.
The dude far left looks like O.J. Simpson. Okay, you kind of look. Oh, you're to my left.
No. It's our left. Well, it's the left on the screen.
Yeah, and that's the screen right there.
That means I was an NFL football player at one point, so I'll take it.
Matt, I'm right with Matt. Matt says if I'm
like-
doing 100 miles an hour in a boat, I'm driving.
for sure. Like if I'm gonna die, it's gonna be my fault.
Right. Like you might as well just run it by yourself with me on the pier watching because you'll go a little faster.
Oh, that good video. That's good video.
Exactly.
Yeah, get the flyby. Yeah.
I'm just thinking
I like
about
it.
what song I'm going to use when I post the first video.
Danger Zone.
Either that or like Kickstart My Heart or something.
Gotta
That's
be
a
Danger
good
Zone.
one.
Or
Just flying by.
just take
fight for your right to party,
Yeah,
Beastie
just
Boys.
maybe about how your dick is so huge.
That's a good one too.
Anything like that would work out fine. Because you're gonna freaking smoke some motherfuckers.
I'm gonna run that thing 100 miles an hour up through the rocks in Conowingo, just like
Shut
zero.
up. Just shut up right now. I'm going to fucking look over. Tony's going to be going 96 miles an hour up the Susquehanna on the right side. I'm going to be like, what is going on right now?
John, how fast was your 21 SS? Because so that boat
Then he's gonna
tested
hit a
from-
rock.
Yeah,
jump-
John
yeah.
says Motley Crue all day.
So that boat tested from Mercury. The
No,
21.
John says look, Danger Zone right
It's a good
there.
one.
Yeah,
I gotta wear
that's
the
what I'm talking
aviators,
about.
dude. But the 21
Yeah.
SS
Oh, man.
was tested by Mercury at 106 miles an hour.
The what was?
The 21
Jesus.
SST, 106 miles an hour,
That's fast as shit.
I believe it.
and it's still a 21 foot boat.
You running 100 miles an hour. Lower unit has left the chat.
Transom has left the chat.
Tony
Exactly,
Tony
dude.
has left the chat.
Your prop has left the chat. Everything is gone at that point.
Yeah, Lifeline vest. I was actually getting ready to buy the vest
What
from
is
Bullet.
what is the Lifeline? Is that a Mustang?
I have no
what is
idea.
it?
I was getting ready to buy the life vest from Bullet, actually.
Is that a
Yeah,
freaking?
what do you guys think of that life cable you put around your motor?
That's the
Dude,
Yeah,
that
that
is
one guy
literally
that likes
probably
to
a
find-
the
harness.
lanyard or something.
It's probably a harness with a lanyard. This motherfucker has to bolt himself down to the freaking back platform before he takes off.
Momar's Lifeline auto inflate vest.
Oh, that's cool.
$200
To check that out. Because I was just
dude.
gonna get the Bullet, the vest from the Bullet
no.
website.
Mustang is a lot more expensive than that, dude. Mustang's got like
I think you might be
$500-$600
talking about
vests
this
out.
one.
Oh,
Nah,
yeah.
fuck that.
So Murphy says when fishing slow in the summer, just race the cigarette boats in the Susky. Yeah, that's.
You'll smoke them all day long.
Oh my God. John said with the Sportmaster lower mid 90s Torquemaster 87.
All right, so you got to
Dude.
get the Sportmaster.
I will eventually.
What's on it?
A Torquemaster. Well, it's the XB came with a Torquemaster. The Sporty is you can plug and play.
Yeah, just
He
drop
said,
it.
Tony, don't forget the drag racing parachute.
Honestly,
Dude, this is gonna be so terrible.
This is gonna be
I'm
a
really
lot of fun.
looking forward to it, dude. The freaking Tiki Lee's shootout with a single engine boat category is going to be fire this year because you're going to fucking rape them. We're going to rape them. I mean, you're going to drive the boat. I'm not even touching your boat, but you just go for it. You know what I'm saying?
Chad's just gonna be there drinking beer. Like he's gonna be at the bar drinking beer, but you're gonna tear him up.
But you're gonna tear them up. Bass and Be Radio for life.
Oh,
know
there
what
you
I'm
go.
saying?
Scott said Lifeline has extra padding on leg straps and a neck support. So yeah, that's probably a great idea.
Yeah, you
that
should probably put a neck brace on before you take off.
And a motor
And a helmet,
motorcycle
yeah,
helmet.
like a legitimate helmet. For
I have
sure.
one.
Like a
I have one.
or like a
No,
I don't know
straight
if
up
they-
though. I have a legitimate neck brace and I have a legitimate helmet you can put on.
Yeah, the helmet's a must. The helmet's a must.
That-
I gotta
that
get some.
extra-
I gotta get some seat time in there. Though.
He says, "Speak to me, goose.
Yeah,
that
right.
extra
Speak to me, goose."
that extra padding is important too. Like if you
Yeah.
what happened to like go out because water's very hard.
Yes.
Just talk to Taylor.
You're gonna
and
have
see
to
what
fully suit up before every tournament, like you're a crash dummy. It's gonna scare the shit out of your co-angler.
He's gonna literally look like the Michelin Man at every launch.
Good God. Well, I'm going to
not
get
for
kicked
me,
out of this
muscles.
gym because they close in 10 minutes, so I got to bounce.
You gotta
Thanks for
stop
joining
walking
us,
on that
man.
treadmill, brother.
I'm fishing a tournament tomorrow, so I gotta get out of here. Too.
We gotta call it anyway. But thanks for joining us, Tom. Tom from Fishing the DMV, legend, man. We appreciate
See
you
ya.
joining us, brother. Thanks a lot.
See you, Tom.
Have a
Always
good
a
one,
pleasure,
brother. Thanks,
guys.
brother.
Cool. So I think we covered a lot tonight. We talked a lot about Humminbird. We talked
did.
a lot about, and we'll see, right? Monday's the big announcement, and we'll see how right we are and what we were short on, what we were spot on, and we'll go from there. But
Monday will be the tale. Before we go too far, I just want to give a big shout out to our sponsors one more time. We got Mobile Auto Services and the Boat Pros. Definitely check them out. They come to your house. Check out UMA Lure Company. That's a balsa wood crankbait, light crankbait,
And
the
poppers.
best deflection rate
yeah, for sure.
in America for a crankbait. I won't throw another crankbait in the fall time. They're my favorite flat sides.
Don't forget the poppers.
And
poppers are awesome,
the
too.
poppers in the springtime are phenomenal. And then we got East Coast IV. East Coast IV is another company that they can either come to you or you can go to them. We have New Year's Eve coming up, which is a big drinking holiday. If you tune yourself up too much, you can go to East Coast IV right there. And
Cure that hangover.
whoa,
Gesundheit, just
I'm
like
gonna,
that.
I'm gonna need to go there after this. You're gonna need to go to East Coast IV in Bell Camp. Check them out. They will hook you up, get you taken care of. Tell them that Bass and Beer Radio sent you. Bass Munitions Lures, Bass Munitions Soft Plastics. Thank you to Mr. Larry Payne for supporting us from day one with your soft plastics from Bass Munitions. We appreciate you. We appreciate your belief in Jesus Christ, and we appreciate your belief in this country. Thank you very much, sir, for supporting Bass and Beer Radio. And big shout out again to Taylor Lures, Mr. Warren Taylor. Makes a phenomenal frog, small profile, big saltwater hooks. I don't even care what. You could catch a freaking 15-foot shark on his frog. You're not bending his hooks out. I promise you.
Yeah, true.
Promise
So
you.
before we sign off, I just want to shout out to Brian.
Brian Dyson.
Want to ask how the foot is, man. Hopefully you're feeling a little better.
Give us an update, Brian.
If you're, I told you, like I said, when you're able to get put weight on, if you want to go fishing, just hit me up, man.
Chad's out of
In case you didn't know,
Texas.
Brian broke the shit out of his foot.
Brian, how'd you break your foot, my man?
His words exactly. My boss bought a piece of shit of a piece of equipment.
It does happen.
Yeah, it happens.
I kind of figured that's what it was. He probably freaking ran over his foot with the track or the bucket set down on top of it. Something stupid.
No, it was like a walk beside ditch witch.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah, and that was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't turn off or some bullshit he said, but it fucked him up.
He says the safe space is a must at those speeds. We had Virgil Cannon say, before my grandmother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, she persuaded me that turkeys were just big chickens.
I believe that. I believe it.
Anyways, kind thoughts, you guys. Virgil, thank you for joining us, brother. I fully agree with you that they are big chickens that just make you sleepy.
Yes, they do. For sure.
No, Tony has drill this weekend.
Well, I got drill Saturday.
Are you
I'm
fishing
fishing Sunday. Fishing Conowinga Open with Miles on Sunday, so we'll see how that goes.
Word.
Yep.
Good luck.
So Tony will be fishing on Sunday. Headwaters, Jim Fallon, be safe, gents. Tight lines to all. Thanks again for the great show. Jim, once again, we appreciate you for joining our show. If we wouldn't have you and our other followers that join in for this conversation, it would not be a great show.
Sweet, Brian.
We could not have a great show if it wasn't for all of you guys that are listening right now. Thank you so much for joining Bass and Beer Radio tonight. We really hope to have you come back next week. And
Fuck it, Twitch.
and make our conversations phenomenal. Love you guys. Peace out. Thank you.
See you guys.